Other parts of the world other than Britain have a different financial setup as well as legal system. You can buy off-plan, buy property off-plan. 10% you might get for the land. For tax purposes, this is calculated as 50%, interestingly. 20% for the foundations, superstructure, 45%. Wind and watertight, a stage payment in your payment schedule, to 85% when you're finally complete. And handover, you'll get another 15% that you can claim as a stage payment. This is all still paying into a financial system that you don't want to involve yourself in. It's enslaving yourself, as is the insurance industry, but you have to legally do that. Insurance loans, they're like COVID, really. Percentage interest rates are higher in France, or perhaps I should say are lower in Britain than much of the rest of the world. But even there, self-build mortgages are a higher percentage. A mortgage is still the cheapest way of borrowing money. But even with my minimal mortgage in Britain, my mortgage payments have gone up from a historic low of £200 a month to £500 a month in a matter of 3 months recently. Brexit related, not much to do with Ukraine. Self-build, you can get an advanced payment mortgage or a arrears payment mortgage. You've got to have a deposit, of course, so you'll get a percentage for the purchase of the land. There's the substructure stage payment, the building of the load-bearing element stage payment, wind and watertight proofing, first fix, second fix, and certified completion. Very similar, really. It's going to be tempting to get a loan on what you have done when you're getting closer to the end and you want to finish it off, but then you're going to get the professionals involved and all their fees in order to get that mortgage money. Much of the world does what I'm suggesting to you as a ad hoc financing, an ad hoc progress of your build. When you've saved up some money, do the next stage. When you've got surplus, enjoy it. Develop your project out of your head. Put things on hold if things are getting tight. A lifetime. A mortgage is a lifetime. It's unnatural to have that amount of money up front ready to go. It's natural to have economic fluctuations you can't control. Get the substructure done, you can leave it. Get the superstructure up and protected, you can leave it. For much of the world, you only need the building permit to get this far, but you have to have your work approved. There's a building inspector, certainly in Britain and France, and the only way in Britain that you can have that work inspected, because private just won't entertain such a long project, open-ended, is to go with the council. The local council still have to supervise your build, even if it goes on for a decade.
Histories of ages past, unenlightened shadows cast down through all eternity, a crying of humanity. 'Twas then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing songs of love. And then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing songs of love.
Metropolitan France isn't just Paris or cities. Metropolitan France is European France as opposed to overseas. Overseas regions of France have exactly the same status. If your project is in a tropical French territory, it's exactly the same status. They are not former colonies, they are part of France. I'm not talking here about Mediterranean islands and Corsica and the Channel Islands. And the exclusive economic zone is 95% of it. Interestingly, when there was painting in our time, in shadows, as if we were still your colonial rulers and you were part of France. But you're not, we'll still support you. Potentially join our economic zone in the future. Type speech. I'm digressing.
Painting in our time, in shadows of yesterday.
The French overseas departments, regions, collectives, territories. The most important of these, perhaps, is the centre of the European Space Agency, where all the satellites get launched from. French Guiana, a wealthy place, with the influx of university-educated people that want to move straight into their home and get on with their job. French Guiana is on the north coast of South America within the Caribbean. Your own tropical build project might be in Guadeloupe, Martinique, Réunion, Mayotte, Saint-Martin, Saint-Barthélemy, Saint-Pierre, Miquelon. We're talking about the French Antilles, perhaps usually a poorer part of the Caribbean compared to how the British have made it. Such a tax haven area. New Caledonia, Wallis and Fortuna, French Polynesia, Clipperton, but we're not going to worry about the French Southern and Arctic lands. We're not going to have a build project there, and this is in tropical.
Painting saints in church. How do you know our Lord was right?
You'll face different rules now in Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti and Grenada. Suriname, and almost as relevant, a huge swathe of America from Canada down through Louisiana to New Orleans, when Britain was restricted to the eastern coastal fringe and nothing was known beyond the Rockies. You'll face different rules in the Franca Afrique, as you would in Vietnam. But for most of these places, the common wisdom has prevailed of ad hoc finance of your build. The current state of your finances and priorities is there on display for all the world to see. But the enslavement of the people by big financial systems hasn't occurred like it has in the Western developed world. For me, progress is seasonal and quality of life is slowly improving in leaps and bounds. You just have to accept that.
You're leaning on the...
Some